holidays are coming. And this year, there will be blood oranges. Today on Trial by Fire Baking, we're making a blood orange poppy seed cake with a cranberry curd, just in time for Thanksgiving. I love fresh cranberries, but somehow my beautiful fresh cranberry sauce always gets overshadowed by the crap in the can. So this year, I'm putting my cranberries in a dessert. We're going to make this cranberry curd for our orange poppy seed cake. And we'll just start with some fresh cranberries. I've got a bag that's 12 ounces, a cup of sugar, and some grated orange peel. I'm just going to zest that orange right into the pan. After about 10 minutes on low heat, the cranberries have all popped and thickened a little. And I'm just going to take an immersion blender and just zhuzh these up real quick. Once the cranberries are zhuzhed up, I'm just going to pass them through a sieve just to get any big pieces out. And while the cranberries are still warm, we'll just whisk in a stick of softened butter. Next up, I've got 2 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs, and I'm just going to whisk in about a cup of those cranberries to temper the eggs, and then we'll put everything on the heat just to heat it up until it's thickened. Once the curd has thickened and bubbles start to appear, we'll just set it aside to cool at room temperature, and then we'll pop it in the fridge to chill. For the orange poppy seed cake, we will start with 2 1/4 cups of cake flour, and I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then I've got half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, and I've measured out 2 tablespoons of poppy seeds, and we'll just whisk this together and set it aside. Next up, we'll cream together the butter and sugar. I've got a 1.5 cups of sugar and a 1.5 sticks of softened butter. That's 3/4 of a cup of softened butter. Once the butter and sugar are combined, we'll just add 1 egg yolk and 3 whole eggs, one at a time, with the mixer on low. And once the last egg is in, I'm going to mix in some blood orange zest. I just zested one of those blood oranges. And this gorgeous blood orange juice. It's such a pretty color. And we just need about 3 tablespoons of that. I'm just going to mix that right in. And finally, we will add that flour mixture. I'm just going to add about 1/3 at a time and alternate that with 1/2 cup of room temperature buttermilk. Today I'm using 6-inch cake pans, so I'm just going to divide the batter evenly between 3 6-inch pans and bake at 350 for, we'll check it at 30 minutes and see how it's going. Today we're going to decorate the cake with some oranges and cranberries. I have dried some blood oranges. I just sliced them, topped them with a little brown sugar, and put them in a 200-degree oven. That took about 3 hours in my oven. And now we're going to candy some cranberries. So I've got 1/2 cup of orange juice. I'm not using blood orange juice because blood oranges are pricey and you can't see the color in this. So let's see, 1/2 cup of orange juice, 1/2 cup of sugar, and we'll just bring that to a simmer. Once the orange juice and sugar comes to a simmer, we'll turn off the heat and add a cup of fresh cranberries. Stir those around a coat, and then just cover this for about 10 minutes. After those cranberries steeped, covered for about 10 minutes, I just moved them to a parchment-lined tray and left them out for about an hour. And they're pretty sticky, but not totally wet. And so now I'm going to add about 1/2 cup of sugar and just roll those cranberries around in the sugar. And now to decorate the cakes. I'm just using my regular Swiss meringue buttercream that I use all the time, but I added a little bit of blood orange juice that made it just a tiny bit pink. And we'll just go around the bottom layer with some of that Swiss meringue buttercream, and then I've moved that cranberry curd to a piping bag, and we'll just fill that in the middle. And we'll do the same thing with the next layer. Now I'm just going to add a crumb coat of frosting to this cake and pop this in the fridge and let it set up. And the cake's out of the fridge, so we're just gonna add one more layer of frosting on the outside. Once the frosting is nice and smooth, I'm just gonna decorate. Gonna use those sugar cranberries along the bottom, just make a border out of those. And now I'm just adding those orange slices. Looking for something a little different for Thanksgiving? Give this blood orange poppy seed cake a try and save your cranberries for dessert. This has been another Trial by Fire. I'll see you next time.